that comes there. Awakening and spiritual experiences, they were never meant to be things that make us less able to live in the world. They were always supposed to be things that make us more able to live in the world. The idea of this separation between my spiritual practice and the rest of my life was never really supposed to be there. Everything that we do, our jobs, our families, our daily work, we're cooking food, we're washing dishes, we're sweeping the floor, we're buying groceries, whatever we're doing, even the little mundane things, we're always meant to be infused with spirituality. It's why we have so many scriptural stories around small tasks. Why we have stories of, the master who's chopping firewood and collecting water from the stream. Why we have stories of Shabri sweeping the floor. To remind us, oh yeah, wood chopping, water collection, sweeping, peeling fruit. All of these things are not separate from spiritual practice. Otherwise we get this illusion. It's very much like the story I was sharing in Ganga Arti about the boat divided into 3 parts, and the one part with the leak, and the guy saying, well, don't worry, it's only leaking in my part of the boat. And obviously we understand the whole thing's going to sink. Our spiritual practice was meant to simply inform and infuse and run through every single thing we do. It's why, again going back to the scriptures, why the stories of divine incarnations on earth, Bhagwan Krishna on earth, Bhagwan Ram on earth, are stories of, human forms engaged in human activities. It's work, whatever the work may be. It's Dharma, it's relationship. To show us that even when the divine comes on earth, forget the sages and the rishis and the saints and the yogis, but even when the divine comes on earth, there's still errands to run. There's still jobs to be done. It's not, well, I'm God, so no, I'm not gonna, do that job. Even the divine on earth, all of the roles, the responsibilities, the Dharma. So spiritual energy is meant to be that pulls us out of ignorance and into truth, and that makes us much more able to move through the world without getting stuck. so that we can see clearly. You know, for example, working on opening our third eye, working on bringing energy to that. Well, it's not supposed to be something that debilitates us. It's meant to be something that shows us the divine in all. Otherwise, what we see with these two eyes, we get angry. Whether we see it in person, whether we see it online, whether we see it on TV, whatever we see with these two eyes that we see in separation, there's anger, there's judgment, there's greed, there's coveting, there's jealousy, there's this, there's that. This eye, this sacred energy center, the Agya Chakra, is the energy center of seeing the truth rather than falsehood. Means seeing the divine in the self, in all. It's supposed to make us more able to move through the world. In unity, in union, in divine connection, not in separation. That being said, there are moments on our spiritual path, especially in the beginning, when we're new to all of this energy, or if we've just started a brand new spiritual practice, or if we have just found ourselves, touched by grace, in which, for a short period of time, we certainly may find ourselves overwhelmed with that. I know on a personal level, I found myself, it's a long story, I won't go into it, but I found myself literally having to be locked up in a storeroom for many hours while I had a very, very, very powerful energetic experience that my body, my psyche was not really able to contain. And with spiritual brilliance and vision, I got literally locked from the outside into a storeroom to lie down on a carpet there and have my spiritual expansive experience. And when I came back to Earth, I was allowed out and fed a nice hot bowl of khichdi and, brought back to planet Earth. This happens sometimes. I know it's happened to me. I know it's happened to many people. But it's short. It's not meant to be something that interferes with our life for extended periods of time. If your spiritual practice is rendering you unable energetically to live your life, either there's a problem with your practice or there's a problem with your life. Because what it means is either you're doing practices in such a way that are catalyzing the flow of energy in a way that you have not yet properly been initiated into, that you haven't been brought into slowly, that you don't have a container for. Or it means that the life, the job, whatever you're doing, is so out of sync. Maybe it's something that causes harm. Maybe it's something that is exploitive. Maybe it is something that is not in alignment with your spiritual values. And so suddenly you're unable to do it. But ultimately, that spiritual energy is meant to make us stronger, more grounded, more anchored, more clear, more aware humans. Spirit, soul, divinity, but in human bodies, having human experiences. It's not meant to render us unable to live human lives. Again, that being said, if for a short period of time you're having difficulty, there are ways to ground yourself. Number one, nature, literally. Take your shoes off. Let your bare feet be in the dirt. dirt, sand, water. Literally, we need to be earthed. If there's no earthing in our electricity, touch it, you get a current. Should you be wet, you could get electrocuted. If there's earthing, if there's grounding, then no matter what you touch, you're wet, you're dry, it doesn't matter, you're not going to get shocked. Because the energy has been earthed, grounded. Our bodies are electricity. And so literally the earth is the best way to ground yourself. These days you can buy all kinds of like grounding mats and grounding things. And, you know, I mean, I'm not anti-gadget. It does just sort of make me laugh that, you know, unless you live somewhere where there is no dirt, or you live somewhere where there is no grass, there's no need to waste your money. Just go, take your shoes off, walk in the dirt, walk in the grass, hug a tree. Greet the morning sunrise. It's the best earthing, grounding thing you can do. Also, what you eat is really important. It's like when I came out of my out-of-body experience, I was handed this beautiful hot bowl of khichdi, like sattvic food. Rice, lentils, vegetables, ghee, like things that are healthy, that nourish us, that nurture us, are automatically going to ground us. It's why when you eat sattvic food, the body goes, ah. It's why it feels so good in us, because it anchors us, because it grounds us. One of the things I love, many of you may know that I have a background in neurology, and I'm still a scientist at heart. I love science, and I love using myself as the experiment. And one of the things after almost 3 decades of spiritual practice, an intense spiritual practice, one of the things I love witnessing is the impact, the huge impact of something as simple as a meal on the way my brain feels. Especially in the morning. I eat dinner very early. I eat before Aarti, so I eat 4:30, 5 o'clock. And then I eat breakfast in the morning, 9:30 or 10. So it's a long time. By the time it's breakfast, I'm really hungry. And sometimes I notice I start to get kind of lightheaded. I start to get a little bit anxious. And I love watching and noticing the minute I sit down, the minute I take a bite of food, it's like the whole neurochemistry just goes, ah. Some people have different neurochemistry. Some people can fast for days and it doesn't impact them. But it's fascinating to notice simply the way that basic chemicals, glucose, sodium, water, how they impact something that feels deeply emotional or deeply spiritual. And we realize it doesn't mean that we're not spiritual. It doesn't mean that we're less anything. It just means, wow, look at this. I have a human body. How interesting. I love watching it happen. Because you realize, wow, soul, spirit, divinity, consciousness, all of this spiritual work, all of these powerful spiritual experiences, and look at the change that a simple molecule of sodium chloride has on my entire felt sense experience. Look at the way that a simple molecule of glucose changes the entire felt sense experience. So watch what you eat, because it absolutely can either ground you, anchor you, enliven you, or take you off track. It's why, in Ayurveda and in yoga philosophy, we speak so much about the 3 gunas. Tamas, food that's tamasic or food that's rajasic, that's activated or activating. Food that is tamasic, that causes lethargy, stuckness. Food that is sattvic, that brings about balance, alignment. So it's why it's so important. Yeah, great. Other questions? Any question that anyone here has? There's now a mic in the center. Yes, in the back.
Namaste.
Namaste.
My name is Shini. I'm coming from Malaysia. I just have a question
Sure.
about people pleasing.
About?
People pleasing.
People pleasing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even when times we know that people's energy or family, friends, but just because even colleagues sometimes, we know that we will be meeting them again sometimes in events or in the workplace and everything. So how do we try to, help ourselves in this way?
Yeah, great. So
Thank you.
there's absolutely nothing wrong with pleasing people. We just celebrated World Kindness Day. Making other people happy is beautiful. So it's important that when we get into these discussions around kind of buzzwords these days, that we not run off in the other direction as though somehow doing something to make someone happy is a no-no. It's kind of core spiritual tenets of all of our religious traditions, right? Do a random act of kindness. Make other people happy. Share love. Spread love. The golden rule. We're given it by all of our spiritual scriptures, by all of our spiritual teachers. So pleasing people is wonderful. Wherever you go, people around you should feel happy. However, you should not make them happy at the expense of your own Dharma. And that's where the question arises, is, am I repressing, suppressing my own Dharma, my own purpose on planet Earth, just to make someone else happy? And that's when it becomes problematic, because no, you are not supposed to do that. And interestingly, not only is it not good for you, but it's not good for them. Let's say that I'm one of those people, for example, who is very, very difficult to please, and I really want everybody to dance according to my tune. And let's say that you live here and you work for me, and I say to you, you need to be like this, speak like that, behave like this, think like this. Now, let's say that you do it. Let's say that you repress and suppress your truth just to make me happy, because I have given you all these agendas of how I want you to live and be. Not only doesn't it serve you, but it also doesn't serve me. Because my highest goal on a spiritual level is not to be surrounded by people who just do what I want so that I don't have to look in the mirror of why I need you to act a certain way for me to be happy. Because that's a deficit in my spiritual practice. I should not need you to dress a certain way, speak a certain way, live a certain way in order for me to be happy. And if I do, then that's problematic on my spiritual growth level. And if all you do is change your life to appease me, then you've actually harmed yourself and you have deprived me of a very powerful and important spiritual lesson, which is to know that I am able to access joy and peace because they are my true nature, no matter how you're acting, no matter how you're dressing, no matter how you're speaking, no matter how you're living. When we people please, we fail to step into our own Dharma, and we fail others to give them the opportunity to also rise to their Dharma. Now, that being said, we do it as lovingly and as kindly as possible, because we are not here as the guru of the world to try to point out where everybody is wrong. When I decided to come back to India, when I knew that I needed to be here, against my parents' wishes, I said to them, very kindly, politely, I actually wrote it in a letter first because I knew that it wasn't going to go over very well, and I wanted to make sure that my mom had an opportunity to sort of have her reaction on her own so that when we came together it could be more peaceful. But my point in the letter and then in the conversation was, I love you. I respect you. I know that your life is exactly perfect for you. But I don't want to be you. And not because I don't respect you, not because I don't think it's perfect, but just because. I didn't know the word Dharma, so I talked about a train ride. And I said, I don't want to end up at the same destination where you are. And if I don't want to end up at the same destination, it means I can't get on the same train. If I get on the same train, it's going to the same place. And it's a perfect place for you, but it's not a perfect place for me. And I explained it like that with as much love and as much compassion and as much kindness as I could. And I made the choice that was right for me. And of course, it wasn't easy for the first few years by any means. For my mom, my dad was wonderful from the get-go, but it wasn't easy for my mom. And yet, the growth that she went through in order to come to terms with this total diversion from the agenda that she had had for her daughter's life was such a powerful amount of spiritual growth. And in the beautiful karmic culmination, she's here now. She's here. She had an awful, awful cerebral hemorrhage stroke several years ago. The doctors in LA couldn't do anything. Pujya Sadhviji said, bring her here. She's here. Now you think, what kind of beautiful karmic journey and threads are woven together for her ultimate liberation to finally give up her body, whenever that time is, on the banks of Mother Ganga. And how that only is possible because I lived my Dharma instead of caving to the pressure of her agenda. So we don't do anyone a favor when we don't live our truth. But that doesn't mean that we don't try to do it nicely and kindly. And it also means that we realize that not every decision is about our Dharma. And so we don't have to assert our own right, our own might on every decision. There are times when, making somebody happy really is the right way to go. Like, all right, I want Italian food, you want Chinese food. I really don't like Chinese food, but you haven't eaten anything all day. Chinese is your favorite food. You've been dying to go to this restaurant. Okay. It'll be fine. I'll find something to eat. I'll make you happy. We tend to swing like a pendulum. And as we say, no, I shouldn't be a people pleaser, we find ourselves almost refusing to simply make simple adjustments in life that are really the stuff that loving relationships are made of, and that actually are mature decisions and are evolved decisions and are spiritual decisions. But because we label them people-pleasing, you start to feel badly for just, agreeing to go to a restaurant that somebody else wants to go to rather than your first choice. Whereas on a deep spiritual level, that's a great thing to do. Not every single meal. Every once in a while you should have what you want to eat. But to be able to rise to the occasion. In the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna explains that the wise ones, the yogis, are basically those without too many preferences. It's like this fine, it's like that fine, it's like this great, it's like that great. The more preferences we have, the more stuck we are. So make sure that you're living your Dharma, but also make sure that in your work to get over the need to people please, that you don't swing so far that you are throwing away what actually is beautiful spiritual growth and practice. Great. Yes.
Namaste.
Namaste.
So I'm Kavita from Delhi, and I've tried to create a safe space for midlife women to find calmness amongst that chaos that hormones are playing with us. So my question seeks your guidance spiritually and scientifically. And my question is actually including me and from many of thousands of women all around from India, especially Hindi speaking. So it's like we feel lost in our identity amongst that, body is changing, hormones are changing, children have left home, and parents are aging. So we really feel lost. Our health is also deteriorating. We are not able to, and modern wellness, they focus on, they tell us to control weight, to control emotions, to control all that drama. So what do we do? How do we balance our life?
Great. Midlife.
Yes.
So first let's look at the emotional identity piece, and then we'll look at the hormonal piece. As an emotional identity piece, it's such a powerful opportunity. Because the reason, as you say, that we're lost is, as women, we have identified, and men as well. You've asked about women, but this is true for men, of course. We identify as our physical bodies, how attractive they are, how much someone else might view us as a good sexual partner. It's how the species goes on. We view ourselves like that. We look in the mirror, we feel happy or sad based on how well we conform to societal norms of beauty and attractiveness. We identify ourselves based on our roles, both in our body, I am beautiful, I am sexy, I am that, but also our roles as mother, as wife, as our job, whatever our career may be. We hit midlife, and as you say, the kids grow up. And it's wonderful because the truth is we were never supposed to identify like that in the first place. And so the universe is saying, okay, I've let you off the hook for the last 25 years, but now here is a mirror quite literally in your face. Yeah, you popped out these great kids, you raised them, but that's not who you are. You were over-identified as the role for so many years. Now is the time to realize, who are you that isn't mother? Doesn't mean that you stop caring for your kids, but it means that you stop self-identifying. And by the way, if you can do this in a young age rather than waiting till your kids are grown up and out of the house, fantastic, you get a head start. Be the mother, by all means. Fulfill the role to the very best you can with love, with sincerity. But don't let that be your self-identification. It's not, I am mother. It's, I am soul. I am spirit. I am Brahman. I am in this particular karmic journey. My Jivatma is currently associated with this physical body that happens to be female, that happens to have just given birth, and there happen to be 1 or 2 or 3 little babies who call this body mom. But I am soul. I am consciousness. I am divinity. And if you can learn that at 25 rather than waiting till you're 45 or 55, you're ahead of the game. But if not, then as you say, we hit middle age, the kids are grown up and gone, maybe even married off. And here we have this mirror. Oh my God, who am I? If I'm not changing diapers, making lunches, helping with homework, who am I? And of course, that's a question we should have asked 30 years ago. But finally we ask now, no problem. And it's a beautiful question. But that's the core question of this crisis, is I don't know who I am. I haven't changed. I just now don't have nearly as many distractions to keep me from asking this question. And it's a beautiful time. We go in. Oh yeah, I'm soul. Oh yeah, I'm divinity. And it ties in beautifully with the hormonal changes because, of course, the body's changing. With the hormonal fluctuations, a lot of us end up with mood swings. And it's fascinating. It goes back to what I was saying in the other question about the impact of a molecule of glucose or a molecule of sodium on our felt sense experience, even after decades of meditation. Well, menopause does the same thing. Suddenly I was noticing my moods all over the place and said, what is going on? Who is this woman? And you realize, here we are, as soul, as spirit, and in these bodies. And there are hormones, there are chemicals, and they do things. But it's such a powerful spiritual experience because it just makes us remember, that's not me. Suddenly you're sitting there and you're furious. You have no idea why. And if you can get out of the identification as I am angry and looking for who it is that might have been the one who made you angry, and you can notice it like a fluctuation, a wave. Wow, look at the chemistry in my brain. Wow, look what my adrenal glands are doing now. it actually becomes such a spiritual practice, because then even when we're done with menopause, the teaching remains. Because we're so identified with our emotions. It's like, I am angry. You are wrong. It's your fault I'm angry. I'm depressed. It's your fault I'm depressed. You're not giving me what I need. And when our hormones are all over the place, you'd have to be blind to still try to keep blaming people in the world around you for your ever fluctuating emotions. Like, you can't help but finally realize, oh my God, this is all happening inside of me. Like, this has nothing to do with the world around me. My poor husband's just sitting there. It's me that's furious. And it's such a powerful spiritual teaching, because you realize, oh my God, every other time I was furious, that I thought it was him or it was her, it's been me all along. It just wasn't so obvious before. And so I turned my fluctuating chemicals into a really like meditative, scientific experiment of just watching and noticing and being so fascinated by, look at this. Like, we're just sitting here and I'm furious and nothing has happened. And this is so interesting. Like, wow, I could shout for no reason. Amazing. And you realize, wow, look at the way, the intricate way that the hormones that are being secreted by different glands in the body or different parts of our brain, how this incredible tapestry weaves together. And it's not us. So it's a time to really turn your life into your meditative practice. And you say, they say we should lose weight, control our emotions. Well, yeah, as the body changes, weight fluctuations, there are beautiful herbs, there are beautiful Ayurvedic herbs. Shatavari is one of them that I highly recommend. There's others, but Shatavari is a great one that really helps balance hormone levels. In the same way, if you have, high blood sugar, there's all kinds of beautiful Ayurvedic herbs to take. One of the things that I've always said is nobody should ever feel badly for taking assistance in balancing levels of chemicals, hormones, neurotransmitters, whatever in their body that might need a little bit of tweak for a little period of time. So Shatavari is fantastic. We look at our diets. We say, oh, my metabolism isn't what it used to be. Okay, I don't need quite so much food. It's not, oh, okay, I'm just going to get fat then. You don't resign yourself to being, overweight and unhealthy. You realize, oh, I don't need so much food. Isn't that nice? I can get by with less. But on a really deep level, the other thing that it really does, and this is so powerful, and it is a core part of the Indian tradition. It's a core part of every indigenous tradition, but it's not a part of our Western tradition, and sadly, that Western influence is coming in more and more, which is, this is a time where we go from being, in the view of society, basically, our role in society, it goes from being producers. We are producers of children. We are producers of food. We are producers of pleasure. We are Go to your mom, go to your wife, and you're going to get whatever it is that you need. We're people pleasers. We're going to do and give what is needed. Well, now it's a shift into a period in which that which we give becomes wisdom. And it's a time, if you allow the hormonal change to happen. I was speaking recently with a naturopathic doctor who specializes in women and menopause and hormones, and she was talking about so many women who are taking really high levels of hormone replacement treatment. And she said it's so sad because you end up with 60-year-old women worried about, like, oh my God, who's posting what on Instagram? And she said, this is the sort of stuff that 25-year-old women are supposed to worry about, like it's how their chemistry works. But as a 60-year-old woman, as your chemistry changes, you're above all of that. Let them post. Who cares? Like, one of the things that happens to us is we actually stop caring quite so much about the little things that annoyed us. And, oh, somebody said this, somebody said that, that one didn't look at me nicely, that one posted this. Like, you just no longer can generate the reaction. But she said it was very interesting because as we are told that basically menopause is a disease and getting old is a disease and you should fight it at all costs, as we're doing it with so much excess hormone replacement, she said you've got these 60-year-olds running around with their, brains buzzing like 25-year-olds. This is supposed to be an age where it's like, yeah, let them worry about the little stuff. Like, I'm gonna just sit here and watch the garden. Give some wisdom. Take care of bigger picture. She said, this is an age, it's an age of big picture stuff. It's no longer what your daughter's wearing as she goes out of the house. It's big picture. It's giving back to the planet. It's being the elders. I mean, this is what traditionally, and again, this is not just women, it's men. The role of the elders in society is a critical role. It's a role of vision, it's a role of guidance, it's a role of wisdom. And we're losing it as everyone is trying to stay in some way 30. By all means, be healthy. Be healthy till you're 90, 100, 110, 120. No reason not to. The Vedas talk about a lifespan of 120 years. Be healthy till then. But not where your mind is still the mind that's focused on competitiveness, little things, me, mine, me versus you. Step into being an elder in society. Recognize your place. Yeah, okay, you've got wrinkles, it's all right. Means you've smiled a lot. Means you've spent some time in the sunshine. Good for you. Okay, you've got gray hair, yeah. Lovely. Or you dye it, that's also fine, whatever you decide to do, but not in an effort to hide who you are. We're lacking these days elders who are proud to be elders and who are happy to step into the role of elder. And I think it's one of the reasons that in our societies we're suffering so much is we don't have the benefit of the elders to go to. I mean, it used to be councils of elders who were guiding and leading and advising, and when decisions were made, they went to the elders. If we had that today, I think so much in our world would be different. So we really need, this is something to be proud of. We don't have to pretend that we're still 30. I mean, thank God I am so much happier at 54 than I was at 30. Thank God. So yeah, really step into it. And, if for a while, if you've got awful hot flashes and mood swings and whatnot, take some Shatavari, take whatever you need to take. It's fine. Like people, as I said, take things for their blood sugar, their cholesterol or blood pressure, or whatever it is. But try to see whether you can wean off it after a few years. Can you do other things, more natural ways? But recognize that it's a beautiful, normal state. And it's meant to really deepen us. Yeah. Great question. Yeah, other questions? Sure, please. We'll take you as the last question this evening. Pranam.
I'm Marshall from Nagpur. Actually, I have one question. That if a person is a good person, but he didn't worship God, okay, so God will love him or not?
They're a good person, but they didn't worship
God.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So God love him or not? But if a person is a bad person and worship God, would God love him? And one question is that if I am a bad person, am I eligible to worship God? For example, if I pollute Ganga Ma and worship her, so is it worth it? That's what my question.
Great. So, if you are a bad person, by all means worship God, because hopefully it will change you. If you find that you are committing acts or having thoughts that you deem wrong, worship God. Pray to God for the strength to act differently, to think differently. Offer everything to the divine. Pray for forgiveness, but even more, pray for buddhi, intelligence. Pray for shuddhi, purity, for clarity. Because you're going to suffer the karmic repercussions of your actions anyway. So pray for the vision, the clarity to stop doing things that are bad. Does God love the person who's good but doesn't worship, or the person who's bad but does worship? Well, there's no rule or law anywhere that says, thou shalt worship God in this way. Yeah, we have pujas that are given as karam kand, our yagyas, our artis, our different pujas. They're beautiful. They're ways of connecting to the divine. But there's nowhere that it says God doesn't love you if you don't perform these. In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna gives us literally a guidebook. You want to be loved by God? There's a checklist. I mean, he's made it so clear, unambiguous, unequivocal, you cannot be confused. He's made it super, super clear. There's so many verses. I was sharing one just the other night on World Kindness Day. That's one of my favorite ones, and it says, Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahantaraha sam dukkha sukhakshami. And it means Arjun's asked him, who are the ones who are dear to you? Like, we all love you, but who do you love? And Krishna says, and this is only one of the verses, there's many. But this one says, the one who is a friend to all, compassionate to all, forgiving to all, balanced the same, with equanimity, in happiness, in sadness, right? No preferences, we were talking earlier. This is the one I love. So he's told us. He doesn't say, oh, the one who does my yajna, the one who does my arti, the one who offers me things. The one, maitra karuna evacha, the one who is a friend to all, who is compassionate to all, forgiving. That's what God wants of us. And our love. Another one of my favorite mantras in there says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktyupratam ashnami prayatatmanaha. And it means whatever the devotee worships me with, offers to me, whether it's a leaf, a flower, a piece of fruit, water, whatever is offered to me with love and devotion, I accept it with love. A leaf, a flower, a piece of fruit, some water. It means your heart. Why does God need us to offer a flower? God's given us the flowers. Why does God want us to give a banana? It's not like God's hungry. God's not thirsty. God's not hungry. So it's not the water. It's not the flower. It's not the fruit. It's the love and the devotion. So if you're a good person, your life is a worship of God, it means. And that's what God wants of us. So you don't do puja, that's okay. Let your life be your puja. And you're a bad person, well, start worshiping right now. Immediately. Do as much puja as you can. Not so God will love you, but so that you will love you. So that your mind will be purified, so your actions will be purified. So you can break free from the habits. Okay? Great. Have a beautiful rest of your evening, everyone. A beautiful morning and day to our family joining from all over the world. And so